All right, guys. So here goes part three of dating advice. So I don't know where part one went. I thought I uploaded it. I might have. It might be on the channel there. If not, I apologize. I was looking around for. I don't know if it was on Facebook or on the channel. I don't know. So I'll just do a little bit of backtracking, reiterating the advice given so far. So for part one, primarily I just talked about making sure that you have the baggage clear, that you took the time from your last relationship to kind of heal, do some of the inner work that we talked about before. And after that, what you want to do is like basically create a checklist of do some self-reflection and create a checklist of things that you're going to need from a partner, not necessarily desire, because we're never going to get 100% of what we desire, but things that you need from somebody that you feel like is aligned with your goals and how you see your relationship or your future family. And that's pretty much where you want to start before the dating process. That way, while you're doing the dating process, like I talked about in the second video, you already pretty much build out a list for conversation for things to kind of vet for, and find someone during that selection process that aligns with your long-term goals of having a relationship and eventually, I guess, developing into a marriage, if that's what some people want to do. Like I said, you just got to make sure you know yourself and that all your intentions are clear from the beginning. And that's basically what I just talked about in part one. So it's just basically just doing the work and creating that space, getting the therapy, clearing clearing your inner baggage, and then just kind of finding out what you want and making that list. So now, and then in part two, we just talked about the best practices, like once you find somebody that you feel like you like, or you're starting the dating process now, and the best practices for that. So now part three is for when you're in a relationship. You found that person, right? You feel like they align with your goals and so on and so forth. So now this is going to kind of bleed back into a lot of inner work stuff. So my next videos will jump back into doing the inner work and just toxic traits in the relationships, and things that we could work on, just different aspects of being in a relationship. But so once you found that person, I would say the best practices would be to just enjoy the journey. Enjoy each other. Don't don't rush into anything too soon. Even though you spent the first 3 months of vetting the person out, you feel like you gotten to know them. That's good. And it's basically just continuing that, and then just making sure you're keeping track of yourself, and then you guys are being transparent, you're communicating. And then when you're in a relationship, you don't want to necessarily quit at every first thing. There's going to be fights. Once the honeymoon phase is over, because the honeymoon phase, first couple months of being in a relationship, y'all are happy, hunky dory, having sex like rabbits, and guys going on dates, and endorphins are firing off and stuff like that. Once all that stuff wears off and you guys get used to each other, that's when the fun stuff starts, right? This is the real test of the relationship. So I would say for that, like I said, don't give up on it. Like I said, you still learn about each other. So the best practice would be to be transparent, communicate better, I would say, and just have it and like I said, you're still gaining an understanding of who that person is. Like, just know that maybe the first 6 months you might have not have gone through all the seasons of seeing every aspect of that person. Some of that stuff takes time, you know what I mean? So you got to go through the seasons with people, and then depending on where you guys are at, if y'all living apart or living together, the seasons are gonna look different, right? So if you guys are living together, they say you really don't know somebody until y'all live together. So once y'all have discussed that, and you guys are deciding to move in together, again, like I said, it's just the main thing is communication and transparency and having an open mind. Allowing people to make, you got to allow other people to make mistakes, and then you guys should talk and have a conversation about it. Generally, that's how healthy relationships should work. Do we always do that and put that in practice? Well, y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we do it all the time, but as we grow and mature and we go through these things, you definitely want to keep an open mind about your relationship, especially when y'all start living with each other. Obviously you're gonna may not like the way the person sleep and stuff like that, but then just also keep in mind you may have things that other person may not like about you. I mean, this, like I said, you're not going to get 100% of the perfect person. You know what I'm saying? You're going to, over time, it takes time to kind of learn and appreciate, the things, that other person's snoring or just the other person's presence in general, the good and the bad. So always keep an open mind that nothing is going to be perfect. And if you have an issue with something, make sure it's before you bring the issue up that it's reasonable. And ask yourself, do the self-reflection, ask yourself why you're asking this, or why what this person does, trigger you so much. You know what I'm saying? So, it's going to bleed into, the other videos of doing the inner work, just, self-reflection and stuff like that. And going from there. So just, when you're in a relationship, keep an open mind. Like I said, the 6 months process is still learn about each other. It takes a few years to really know somebody like that. Depending on how much time you spend with each other, everybody's situation is different. But that's okay. Enjoy each other and enjoy the journey. And yeah, for the most part, like I said, I can't say it enough. Communication and transparency is going to be big here. And keeping an open mind and allowing each other to make mistakes and give each other time to grow. You know what I mean? I think nowadays people are so quick to throw away relationships, which is seems to be part of the problem. Is if a person doesn't meet their exact expectations, they're so quick to throw away the relationship instead of giving the other person a chance to kind of grow. And you got to talk about it. If it's that big of an issue, there is I suggest relationship counseling. I know counseling is not too big in the Black community, but that is something you guys should do. Definitely have mentors. Mentors is good to have. People outside of your relationship that you could trust, people that I'm talking people that for years that are already married, preferably, and then preferably, and then and make sure that they're telling you where your faults are, and they're not trying to tell you what to do about your relationship, but more of they're kind of giving you that mental guidance and let you know what has worked for them and their marriage and stuff like that. And then, because if marriage is something you're building up to, obviously you want to talk to married people, or you want to be, people who have a good relationship, who's been tested, who's been in a relationship for like 10 plus years or whatever. You want to have people like that that's been tested, or anybody who's just, knowledgeable in your corner and that can be objective and kind of give you that guidance. Another piece of advice would be to kind of, I guess, most times, like I said, outside of those core people that you can go to vent and talk up and kind of gain perspective, you want to keep your relationship kind of closed off. Not all the problems of your relationship need to be posted on Facebook. Like so many of us, I'm pretty sure we all done it a couple times, but best practice will be to kind of keep it off of a public setting. Don't really run to too many family members, especially if y'all close and y'all, family got to know each other, stuff like that. And like, unless it's like a crucial situation where it's like it's domestic and it's bad and it's really toxic, I'll say keep a lot of y'all inner problems, in your inner circle, and kind of, you don't need to run to certain family members about every single thing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you may be feeling some type of way one day, and then a week later, you gotta, your feelings are completely different. Or even a couple of days later, once you had time to really assess the situation, talk about it, and really, engage, what the issue was, and y'all will eventually resolve it. I mean, like I said, we all go through it. It's normal. There's never a relationship where you're not gonna have too many fights. I know some people think, just because they never seen their parents or anybody or their grandparents, anybody's fight or have an argument, doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I mean, in cases where, if you never seen it, either they did a really good job hiding it from you, or um like I say, or that maybe they just one of those rare people who have that deep connection and understanding. But I'm pretty sure that definitely came with time. I mean, they're your grandparents, so that means they've been together for a while before you even conscious of their relationship and view their dynamics and so on and so forth. There's a lot that could go with that, but basically, but don't try to compare yourself to other relationships and their success. Everybody has a different formula. What works for me may not work for you. What works for Susan may not work for Mary. What works for Joe may not work for Guy. You know what I'm saying? So just try to keep that in mind. And just be attentive to your partner's specific needs. I mean, I know there's this whole thing about gender roles, going 50-50 on bills and stuff like that. Don't worry about none of that. None of that stuff really matters until, like I said, until y'all really had that conversation. And even then, what works for you guys, what works for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and this is all part of making sure somebody, and having those conversations, making sure somebody aligns with your beliefs, or aligns with how you like to how you like to deal with your relationships and the certain dynamics within it. You know what I mean? So part of that's all that should be part of the vetting the vetting and dating process, right? Before you guys move in, get married, or whatever the case have you. Definitely do the work for that, because that'll definitely make living together a lot easier. And even if you guys discover it while living together, like I said, be open to it and allow for change. Especially for long-term relationships, people are going to grow. So it's not like you're going in. It's not like you're going to be with the same person your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Especially in these long-term relationships, people are going to grow and change. I'm not going to have the same mindset at 40 that I did at 30. At least I hope not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have the same mindset at 50 that I did at 40. You know what I'm saying? Or, I'm not going to have the same mindset at 35 that I did at 25. You know what I'm saying? So people are going to grow and change over the years. So you got to allow your partner time to adjust. And if they're willing to adjust and put in that work, then that's all good. Like I said, we shouldn't be so quick to throw away relationships, as soon as we don't get exactly what we want, or person's not living up to the expectations that we set, and that we're projecting. Because, not everybody's going to live up to your exact expectations, but if it's, there should be times where you're able to compromise a little bit, and if it's a reasonable compromise, you should have no problem doing it, especially if you care about, the other person or the relationship, and yeah, like I said, and once again, do not pay attention to what's out there on social media and paying attention to all the, other people's relationships. Just focus on yours, what you guys need from each other, and then just kind of go from there. And like I said, you feeling some type of way, any changes to avoid resentment and stuff like that, just talk, communicate, be transparent, and, you should be good to go. So that's my advice on dating. If I need to post another video on part 1, again, I could do that and kind of, explain. Like I said, I don't know what happened to the video. It might be up there, might be not. I didn't see it when I looked on the channel. But, if you need me to reiterate that, I can definitely do it. That's not a problem. But generally, that's my advice on dating, the process of vetting your partner, and then just best practices when in a relationship. And then going forward from here, like I said, we're going to talk about doing the inner work. Still, I'm going to go back to, different traits in a relationship, and different problems we might run into, and how to kind of navigate those within ourselves and within our partner. All right. Tevin Lucall, baby. Peace and love.